Penny for your thoughts.
So lately, all I've been seeing in Star Wars news is about Star Wars Outlaws, how it's having glitches, what you should buy, what you shouldn't buy in the game, walkthroughs, and also about Sigourney Weaver joining the Mandalorian Grogu, and also about Amanda Stenberg saying how the fans ruined the Acolyte. But I wanted to bring your attention to something else, which is really neat, and that is the Skeleton Crew, which is coming out. And I wanted to show you an article that I was reading. And if you stick around afterwards, I'm going to give you my thoughts and ideas and what my hopes and dreams are for this show. So let me show you this article real quick. So there's Jude Law. I really like him as an actor. It says Skeleton Crew Jude Law hints his character goes by multiple names, gives individual praises to all episode directors. Coming off of D23, Skeleton Crew Jude Law spoke to Rotten Tomatoes TV and revealed an interesting tidbit about his mysterious character. So far, very little. I guess they didn't write that very well. So far, it's known very little about him beyond the fact that he's a Force user. When asked about who he's playing, Law responded with this. So I play a character called Jod. Well, that's one of his names. He is someone they meet and who is there to try to help them back to their home planet. And you never quite know whether he's trustworthy, whether he isn't trustworthy, whether he's with one side or another. You never quite know. But ultimately, he's part of the crew. Some want him a part of it, some don't want him a part of it. I can't give too much away. I'm going to say he's full of contradictions. So that'll make it pretty intense during the show. While we knew that Law's character was going to bring some kind of mystery to the show, the fact that he goes by multiple names and Law himself seems hesitant to say too much about him highlights just how much of an enigma Jod is at this moment. Perhaps he's a Jedi, as the trailer suggests, perhaps he's a con artist, or something more sinister we won't know until December. The series takes place in the era of The Mandalorian, as Law reiterated. So that's 5 years after the destruction of the Death Star, and will feature familiar people, familiar faces. The list of directors is quite expansive and filled with talent. Law went through it and seemed over the moon about them all. John Watts, first of all, was the leader of the pack because it was his show. Generous, fun, really kind of challenging, and creating a real sense of jeopardy for the kids. So the kids really knew that this was serious stuff. David Lowery is in many ways like Peter Pan himself. I worked with him on Peter Pan and Wendy, and he brings this beautiful energy and magic. The Daniels are funny, anarchic, kind of left of field, but their episode is really moving. It quite surprised me. Bryce is just a huge embrace collaborative. Lee Isaac Chung surprised me the most. I think he had me laughing the most, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. Jake Schreier, I think his is actually one of the best episodes, really brilliant. In a separate interview, Entertainment Weekly, Law spoke of how the kids view his character. Not all of them trust him, and some of them really worship him, so he becomes a kind of barometer almost for their sense of security under an adult's wing in this world. In the same interview, Law also gives his opinion on the Han shot first debate, stating, Han killed him, cold blood, and that was the way it was always meant to be. Amen, brother. All in all, Skeleton Crew seems to have a lot going for it. With the talent it has both in front and behind the camera, mixed with its Spielberg-like tone, it might end up being a pleasant surprise when it releases later this year on December 3rd. I'm really looking forward to this series. The reason why is at the very beginning, they have some fantastic directors that are coming in. And it reminds me of the first season of The Mandalorian when they brought in all those different directors to direct each episode. And that really got me excited because each episode was so good on The Mandalorian. So I'm hoping that it'll be like this. Second of all, they have Jude Law, and then they have these kids. And if you haven't seen the trailer, spoiler alert right here, it starts off with them like walking through this suburb, or he's walking through a suburb and there's this alien walking a dog. And then they catch a school bus, and it looks just like normal Earth suburb, kids going to school. And maybe that's the The only part that I don't really like very much is it shows them in a normal suburban life. I'm used to like Tatooine where everything's made from Adobe, or Coruscant where everything is in these huge skyscrapers, or Naboo, they're in a palace. There's no really modern suburb life in Star Wars that I've seen so far. That's my only negative, but the rest is really cool. So then you see them go and they find this tunnel or this cave that they think is a Jedi temple. It feels very Goonie to me, like the Goonies. So they get in this thing, and then they somehow get on this ship and are sailing through the universe. And that's kind of like Flight of the Navigator, kind of. So there's a lot of 80s-ish nostalgia from this trailer, and I hope that they're able to hold on to that and bring it into the show, because it'll make the show so much fun. I know they probably have to have some serious parts, and having an adult with them might tone it down a little bit. But if you look at the Goonies, that was such a fun show. The Flight of the Navigator, if you haven't seen it, it was about this kid who was flying this spaceship, and so many other 80s, kids shows and 90s where they do amazing things and have this grand adventure. And I think that this is what it would take. I'm hoping that I can show this to my kids. I hope there's nothing bad. I doubt there is, but me being a parent, I have to like monitor what my kids watch. So I'll probably watch it first, and if I like it, then I will watch it with them, and we can have some fun watching the Skeleton Crew, which I think they'll be able to relate to the kids in the show better than they would a Star Wars movie. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you're able to watch it too, and I'll probably do some movie watches with the episodes, and then we can have discussions afterwards. If you like this video, then you'll probably like this other video that I'm about to pop up that shows there it is. It shows that Luke did not blow up the Death Star. Can you believe that? Luke didn't blow up the Death Star in Star Wars, or at least that's what they say. Let me know what you think. Watch the video and give me your feedback on it. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
Didn't like it?
Listen, man, I'm not your friend.
Don't fall asleep.